Welcome to Chapter 6, Experience and Learning.
Experience learning is one of the major assumptions of androgyny, because our experiences are a resource for learning. John Dewey was one of the first philosopher and educators to write on experience and learning. He published a book called Experience and Education. Dewey believed that learning is a lifelong process where you are applying and adapting past experiences to new situations. An example of experience and learning would be Nick has worked many different jobs and throughout his years has developed a lot of skills working in his multiple jobs. He has a current job working for an asphalt company and they need to build what's called a hopper for the hot plant that produces the asphalt. Nick has never had any experience in building a hopper, but because he does have past experiences of welding and building things and doing construction, he's able to apply those skills that he obtained to be able to accomplish the project that he has on hand. Past experiences can be a great tool in helping with new education, but it can also be a hindrance to new learning. Knowles states, "We tend to develop mental habits, biases, and prepositions that tend to cause us to close our minds to new ideas, fresh perspectives, and alternative ways of thinking." The text gives us a really good example of this with the CPR. CPR is always changing and updating the appropriate way to administer it. And the text explains that you would basically need to unlearn what you already know about it and then learn the new information. Experience learning also plays important roles in transformative and self-directed learning. Even though self-directed learning is overseeing your own learning, experience is what helps you decide what you want to learn and how you're going to learn that information. Transformative learning begins with experience. It is your experience that makes you question the way the world works and why things are the way that they are.
Our book gives us Kolb's experiential learning cycle. Experience is at the heart of his understanding of learning. His model consists of 4 stages that learners go through. First is concrete experience. We turn off the autopilot of our mind. We focus on our sense of touch, sound, sight, and smell. We are involved fully, openly, and without bias in new experiences. Second is reflective observation. We are able to sit with our feelings and thoughts and reflect on them rather than act on them. Abstract conceptualization. We create concepts that integrate our observations into logically sound theories. The last one is active experimentation. We take these theories to make decisions and solve problems. We may also respond to people and events in ways that we normally wouldn't. We have also included Kolb's learning style inventory in the framework, which will give you more specific information tailored to your style. Kolb's model was followed up by 3 different models presented by adult educators focusing on different aspects of experiential learning. First being Peter Jarvis, focusing more on the actual process of learning. Tennant and Pogson explained experiential learning as the different ways experiences can be acknowledged as resources for learning. And Fenwick draws from 5 possible ways to conceptualize experiential learning, each from which draws from a different theoretical paradigm.
Reflective practice is also known as practice-based learning. As our text says, it is acquired through reflection on or in practice or experience. I know that for myself personally, I learn best when I'm actively participating in something. That way I can fine-tune whatever it is I'm doing, make adjustments when and where needed, and overall improve. Which leads me into talking about the 2 key concepts in reflective practice, which are reflection in action and reflection on action. Reflection on action, as our text states, is when we have an experience and we consciously think about it after it has happened. I can think of many instances when I've had interactions with colleagues, family, friends, And after our conversation, I thought about some things that could have been worded or handled differently. And then I decide from that experience to do something different in the future. It can also be used as if you have an interaction with someone and you think that it went particularly well, so you decide that you're going to do something similar in the future. Reflection in action happens when we reflect on an experience while it is happening. Reflection in action characterizes people who think on their feet, then experiment, change direction, and immediately respond. This type of personality is more desired by employers. Our text gives an example of reflection in action. And to sum it up, is say that you are at an event and you have prepared a 15-minute speech. The people that are running this event come up to you and they tell you that you have to cut it short. They're running out of time. You have 5 minutes. So you decide to get rid of all the jargon that is in your speech and focus on the main point. And you get up there and you deliver a speech that is direct and to the point in 5 minutes. That's reflection in action. Situated cognition is also called contextual learning. Situated cognition takes place when a teacher can present information to others in such a way that the learner can create meaning for themselves based on their own experiences. Our text states that reflective practice is most often thought of as reflection on experience or practice, whereas situated cognition is more akin to learning and practice in a context. This means that the spotlight shifts from the individual to the context. The context can be many different things, such as environment and culture, or specific tools like object, language, or symbols. Communities of practice are also called learning communities. These learning communities are everywhere. Anytime a group of people get together around a common interest, that is a community of practice. Our book gives examples of these, and they are family, workplace, these classes, even social media websites. You know, when I read through this chapter, I think of a class that I'm taking, and I'm sure some of you are in as well, and maybe have taken or will take. And it's instructional technologies. And in this class, we get the opportunity to learn more about Twitter, about blogging, all about creating our personal learning network. And that is what I think of when I hear communities of practice. So thank you for listening and watching our presentation. We hope that you learned something new and that we presented it in a way that you could learn. Please leave us feedback. And we look forward to learning with you in the future.